you can't build what you want to build. You have to build what the market allows you to build.
For people who haven't come across Bloom or Charlie before, what were you doing before crypto? Was there a before crypto for you?
In some ways, I mean, I came straight out of university, straight into crypto.
Right.
So
straight
good 9-10 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a master's on a crypto topic. I built a wallet for my master's thesis.
Wow. So that must have been relatively early in the industry.
Very early, yeah. This was sort of 2017. Industry was very much in its infancy.
Did it take some convincing to get the faculty to sign off on a?
Oh, I didn't mean to get into it. It was. I'd put down.
I can imagine a professor going, "No, don't understand this. I'm not going to market."
Yeah. No. They have a very big blockchain sort of department at UCL.
Yeah,
they had that since very early on. But no, it was. I put my name down for AI or crypto. Whatever dovetailed into would have paid off, I suppose, in either direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somehow landed up in crypto. Yeah.
And that was 2017, and so that was like post university straight into
the deep end. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. I didn't think I when we spoke before, I hadn't really realised it had been that transition straight into it.
Yeah, and I worked for Layer 1. So back in 2017, one of the top 10 chains was a chain called IOTA, which is very forward-thinking with vision, Internet of Things, Industry 4.0, machine economy, a lot of concepts that finally come to fruition through the agentic piece. But I worked for them for a number of years, was a director of engineering, oversaw all of their software for consumer-facing stuff.
What a great experience straight out of university.
Yeah, I mean, from a kind of contextual point of view, leading into what I do now is almost ideal. I covered every single part of the stack, whether it was the actual protocol itself, the explorers, the consumer-facing side. It was truly at the core of what it means to build crypto from the foundation up, and I think that's given me a sort of fundamental and foundational knowledge that I think is quite rare in the space.
Do you think that only comes from working in a successful Layer 1?
I mean, you could probably get exposure jumping around different businesses, but I think the reality of it is it depends where you sit on the stack. I think you can very easily get almost pigeonholed into one particular bucket. If you're always at the consumer layer, you're going to be restricted in your understanding theoretically. So I think that sort of comprehensive understanding Layer 1 ecosystems is particularly interesting. Also, community building is sort of exactly what crypto is at its core, right? As a founder, anything I've learned is you can't build what you want to build. You have to build what the market allows you to build at this given moment in time. And I think that was true of IOTA. They've kept on with that same vision. They're very much still in that game. So I think that pays as well, is if you have the conviction to stay with something for an extended period of time, eventually you are the expert in that field far beyond others. And so the connections you've made and whatever else put you in a very strong position. But works in reverse as well, right? We were building wallets for a long time. And by the time I was in a position to be starting my own venture, wallet space was totally commoditized. Right. So started out building a wallet, got pretty good traction, issued 20K MAUs or so. And then we were like, well, no one wants to fund a wallet.
This was the genesis of Bloom?
Yeah, well, I mean, the latest incarnation. So we started as a wallet, built that product, and then realized there was this gap in sort of the confluence of social and finance. And we've been digging into that ever since. And I think that's especially interesting now is essentially everyone is kind of forming a confluence around the singular point where you've got X is doing smart cash tags, you've got Robinhood Social has just launched. So every major financial platform, every social media, they're now looking at how do we integrate finance into this as well. So it's validation, but
big validation, but competition as well.
Certainly,
But nice for early investors to see that they've got validation in potentially backing you guys because the rest of the market is recognizing the opportunity.
100%. But it also forces you to evolve. So what the initial incarnation of Bloom hasn't dramatically changed, but the refinement that's taken place over that period of time, a lot of it's been encouraged by competition. And I actually think, again, like as a founder, one thing that is incredibly valuable is to be able to know what is coming ahead. So if you can think 2-3 years in the future at all times, which is tough, right? Like how are you going to constantly innovate and know what's coming? But if you can do that, it puts you in a very strong position because people pigeonhole themselves, right? You release a product at a certain point in the market's lifecycle, you find yourself in a position where you're now stuck within that realm. You have a certain user group, a certain user category. You have to keep,
and their expectations are pretty solid, solidified around what you've got out there. So
I think it's you just have to be incredibly flexible.
In a short summary, how would you describe Bloom in its current incarnation?
Traders come and share theses and ideas on the market. That is backed by a verifiable position.
Okay.
Each trader has a reputation and track record over time. And at the other end of the equation, retail users have a single surface where they can get exposure to stocks, crypto, RWAs, prediction markets.
Hugely valuable.
Every major asset class has come on chain. And so what we really refer to it these days as is a market intelligence network. Almost an altogether new category.
Okay. I like that. Has that gone into a pitch deck recently?
It hasn't yet.
Market intelligence network.
Okay.
And is that as a function of having all of the asset classes there all in one place? You're able to do a lot of interesting
and
things
totally unopinionated, right? Like you think about a lot of the venues, Kalshi, the prediction market, historically they've now moved in the social space, very natural evolution for a prediction market, share your bets with friends, etc. But I think where we have strength is we have no horse in any race. We can serve every single
whichever market,
execution vehicle or market.
And in terms of Bloom and the way that you guys are taking it now, if I come on there as a user, I can go and follow someone and I can look at their track record. How's their reputation built? Like
we actually rely on a third party for reputation
for scoring,
like ethos. Yeah,
and that's reputation of them as an individual, not with how good a trader
as
they
an individual. Yeah, so it's totally detached from being a trader.
Okay.
It's literally a metric on integrity.
Okay,
and that's all it's intended to be. If you think of an environment that is encouraging people to trade off each other's ideas or invest off each other's ideas, and it's a social environment, you can't have bad actors.
No.
It undermines the entire premise of it. And it's not like these are going to automatically filter out on their own accord, right? You do need some level of collateral and accountability on the line. And what do you have beyond reputation? Not a lot, right? So I think it's a very interesting field to be working in, because obviously our intention is that it does transform how the individual retail user gets exposure to finance and vastly improves their understanding and interpretation, which has never really been something accessible to them. Right?
Interesting.
They had an execution vehicle, but they've never had that. Why am I doing this?
Yes.
And so there's a lot of responsibility when you're operating in that field, because it's finance, it's money, there's things at stake, and if things go wrong and people lose money,
it impacts them. Yeah,
impacts them. It's not even us as a business. It's just almost like a moral obligation that let's ensure that this, as a system, foundationally functions in such a way that it just gradually moves towards high quality.
Better. Yeah. Since you've been your own, doing this under your own steam as an entrepreneur, what have been the things that have caught you out that you've been surprised about?
It's a good question.
I can give you context and give maybe your feed off this.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the mind share that this business has in my head.
Yeah, over consuming your entire life.
Yeah. And I
think it's.
I wasn't prepared for it.
Well, I mean, you hear all of these like slightly kind of tired ideas that being a founder is incredibly isolated and lonely journey, and you read all this and you're like, okay, cool. And then when you're actually in the environment, you're suddenly like, I can fully empathize with that mentality. And I think it's it's something that can really define you as a person. If you're someone who is susceptible to reacting to a negative news event or something going wrong, it's going to be a tough ride.
Yes.
Almost. Yeah. I think like analogy, right? You come in as this kind of a rough stone, and you're in this river, and you're getting barraged and battered around and throws you all over the place. And eventually, you've been in that really tough day-to-day environment and stream for so long that you just become this smooth pedal.
This beautiful pebble up the back
lovely
of it,
zen pedal. Where nothing can really,
it's very true.
Your course.
I mean, when I think back a couple of years, the highs and the lows that can be ensconced within a single day are just incredible. I mean, and we still get them now. And I think all of us within the business have learned to just emotionally regulate ourselves a bit better, because
for sure.
I talk about this in relation to having young family and stuff. The only constant is change. It's slightly different in early startup. It's the only constant is like volatility of outcomes and results that you don't often have a huge
no control over. Yeah. I mean, it's a journey. I love it. I couldn't see it any other way now. I think once you've been in the gauntlet, I think it'd be very hard to exit the gauntlet.
Even if Bloom becomes its fullest realization of where you want to take it, it's like, okay, great, done. That's packaged up. Pass it on to someone else.
What's next? What's next? 100%. Yeah, and I think that's a way that, that sort of ambitious desire to always better and do something more and challenge yourself. I think that's sort of the most important tenet of all, right? If you're not enjoying it, despite the pain and the anguish, why are you doing it, I suppose? And I read a really interesting article about the sort of sub-communities and how they form online, and how you have the builders who come in first, and then you have the second wave who are the fanatics, and the fanatics are happy to come and dig in and
give time and
everything else, and then
evangelize and
eventually you get the sociopaths, which changed the dynamic, and there's this sort of progressive relationship with these things where sociopaths come in, and then this attracts what they call MOPs, members of the public, who don't really seem to contribute anything, but they're kind of just there. And then the cycle repeats and continues, and the builders hate the sociopaths, of course, and sociopaths kind of profit from the situation. Now, I applied this to the crypto lifecycle, and every single bull run, I would say,
you can
see the same cycle playing out.
Yeah.
I can't remember the article was called. It was interesting.
That sounds great. And I imagine, I mean, particularly within the more local examples of communities, certainly around perp dexes and stuff, over the last 6 to 9 months, you've had exactly that cycle, but you've got the added sort of complication of there being potential rewards that people are turning up.
I think
to.
Crypto does that cycle on steroids because there's the financial incentive at the core of it all. But it also breeds the bad behavior at the same time. I actually think, personally, that dynamic is the major unsolved piece in crypto. Is behavioral, is social. I think most of the technical infrastructural side is now done, but it's I don't know. It depends how you look at it, right? Like if you're coming from the outside as like, I watched your YouTube video and I invest in Bitcoin. I'm doing this as a means to make money, but you're not kind of deep involved in the industry or the culture. You don't see all of the sort of undercurrent, right? But if you're like deep in the thick of it, you have all of these kind of volatile asset classes like meme coins, where there's a whole culture within that, and because there aren't guardrails, you have problems occurring. You have like effectively bad behavior, right? People just using it as a vehicle through which to extract and whatever else. So I think that's probably the largest unsolved thing, and I think the threshold of kind of what is considered acceptable is lower than it should be.
And what solves that? Regulation or something else?
I think
is there a technical solution?
Yeah, so there's a technical side to it, right? Like everything we're doing around reputation is one way of solving this, right? Like in our case, we can't have bad actors in the Bloom ecosystem because it will just it will extract and it will collapse the whole system. But I think in the broader ecosystem is more just it's the same in any social group, right? Like when you have a collective behavior that is unacceptable, you as a kind of collective group need to come together and repel that. Police self-policing, and I do think that because you have this promise of riches and increasingly young audience who come in and almost potentially hyper gambling through meme coin exposure and things like this, make it very, very fast. They become a status symbol. This attracts a new wave of people wanting to also hustle their way up to become that status symbol. And I think it's just placing principles in the wrong place ultimately. It's like the status isn't the thing we should be looking at here, and I think that's what
that's fascinating.
Undermines things.
I've just observed similar dynamics in influencer space as well, sort of whether it's Instagram or TikTok and stuff, the same sort of mechanics happen, where it's not explicitly a group that's maybe linked to a meme coin or a particular subculture within crypto.
You're watching the Louis through manosphere.
Exactly. So that sort of thing. A lot to do. And so you're right, though. Reputation is right at the heart of this. Thank you very much for coming in. And where can people find you, and where can they find Bloom?
Bloom.social.
Bloom.social.
It's mysterious right now. It's a big, beautiful portal. We're going through the motions towards the full launch cycle right now. So,
well, how do you look so fresh?
I don't think I do.
Charlie, thanks very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tim.